ilities are essentially just like non-functional requirements. They're sort of the thing that hopefully makes my slide. Okay, no, they're non-functional requirements. They are like system quality attributes. They're sort of like the invisible things behind your software that define what it is to be quality software, right? So I gathered a small list of these guys. We're going to go over these real quick. 5 minutes. No, actually, luckily these have been kind of condensed into smaller subsets by people smarter than myself. So we're going to hit one of those that's really popular in a bit. But in the meantime, we'll talk about where do we address these. First of all, up front, right? That's the obvious place that everybody knows when the ilities are mostly used is when we talk about infrastructure, software architecture, team planning, security concerns. A good example is if you say that you want your software to be 4 nines of availability, it's going to have a huge impact on your infrastructure because you have a very small amount of downtime per year. So a big impact, obviously, the upfront example of how ilities are important. Ongoing, ilities need to play a more formal role, I find, in software development. Because it impacts your future readiness, and it's something that you should pay formal attention to as you move forward. Having those defined helps a lot. A good example is maybe as your project is evolving, you find there's a new team that came to your company that needs to integrate with your data. This impacts your definition of done. So now new features that you develop and build need to also avoid that from producing else. You got to balance these things. Obviously, you can't just crank them all to the sky. Your effort is a finite resource, and some of these things contradict each other, right? So if you, and we're going to actually go over a couple examples of that as we go through this. So I promised you a subset. Here's one called FERPs. It's actually pretty popular, and it covers some functional and non-functional requirements. So I can see why it's becoming, it kind of became the standard. We'll walk through these. So first, for functionality. These questions actually map to additional ilities, but I didn't want to just beat you guys over the head with this. But essentially, ask yourself some questions like how many features are we going to have, how broad, how extendable does this have to be, and how much security needs to be required. A good example of functionality is if you say that you're going to have an API that's going to be accessible by third party, a lot of upfront and ongoing considerations to make, security implications, and of course, it's going to crank up your reusability. For you, this is something we call like UX, usability. How human-friendly does your application have to be? Is how nice to look at? Is that important? Do you need predictable design? Something that's highly responsive as people use it? A good example is if you say that the UI needs to respond in less than 300 milliseconds every time. That's going to impact readiness as you make new tickets. You're going to have to check and make sure there are loaders and things so that your users don't feel like they're hanging. Another ility here is reliability for FERPs. So this impacts max downtime, something we covered earlier, but also how error-prone is your software, or how error-prone can it be, and what's the real-world impact of that? And a good example is if you have something that's used by emergency personnel, downtime is really bad. Like, you don't want that. Also, your frequent and fancy UI updates probably not so cool anymore. You can go crank that one down and up your reliability piece, right? So it kind of shows the balance there. Performance. So how long do we wait for actual results? Not just like UI responsiveness, but actual real results. So how much is this going to have to scale out? What's your peak time look like? Does it need to have some sort of like distributed computations behind the scenes? A bad example of a performance requirement would be like, you're making a business card website for your dentist. Probably don't have to worry about making a scalable architecture. Go and put your cards, in another square, right? So another example of just how this kind of all balances out depending on what your target is. And then finally, supportability. Can we test this thing? How rigid are the expectations? How many different platforms and operating systems do we need to support? And do we need multiple languages and locales? What if your group kind of grew out and you started to cover more of North America? Well, you're covering Canada, US, and Mexico. Now you're going to talk about multilingual support, time zone support, and currency, right? So kind of ran through that pretty quick, but that's pretty much it, guys. So any questions?